privileged to have you here with us. You've been here for less than a week, just a few days, but you've already given us many, many treasures, because morning and evening we've kept you busy, and you've been very gracious and just glowing with the flow. And tonight, this is an evening for the Brahmin family, so that then they can understand a little bit better about your love for Baba, faith in Baba, and how to move forward in life. And I'd like us to begin with you sharing your story of how your parents gave you the upbringing with which it became so easy for you to become a yogi. Because I was just thinking that way back in the 1930s, when you were probably born, I think it's around that time, yeah? 1930s, you took physical birth. Okay still? Yeah? So the world was very different in the 1930s, and you've been through that whole experience of the 20th century and a part of the 21st century. So what was it like to be there in Bharat at that time, still the undivided Bharat under British rule? What was it like in your upbringing?
Well, the question is not very clear, because when I was born as a baby, at least for 7-8 years I knew nothing, whether it was British rule or what was outside, inside. So I can remember only my primary school days.
We'd like to hear about that.
Yes. So what happened in those days, children would be admitted to schools which are close by to their house. So in our area there was a branch of a school. Its high school was in the city and a small branch was in our area. So because of that convenience I was put in that branch. And the only thing I remember is that we will be enjoying when the school will close. That's all I remember. We were asked to repeat some numbers, so we were waiting for that time when we will quickly repeat those numbers and looking forward to going back home. That is what I remember of my primary school. And because it was a branch of the main high school, so after the 4th standard, I got naturally admitted to the high school, which was in the city. So what I remember, it was really high school, very high. And our classroom was on the 2nd floor. And if I remember, I looked out, there was a bus stop by the side of the school, and there were tall boys and small boys. So the tall boys used to jump from the window to the roof of the buses, some of them. This is what I remember. And that's all, I think. The big school, and our school band used to stand first in the city when there was competition. That is what I remember.
And you were playing something in the school band, a violin?
No, that was not in those days. I studied there up to, I think, 6th or 7th standard. The only thing I know is that we had Muslim students, and the language spoken was Urdu. Our school prayer was in Urdu. So I complained to my father because there was I was very small, other boys were maybe twice my age. So I told my father to change my school. And he did change the school. And then I got admitted to a nationalist families school. Who were nationalists means trying to lead Mahatma Gandhi's way of life. And the school was also based on that.
So you wore khadi?
No, our teachers, all the teachers were compulsorily to wear khadi. Lady teachers, no lipstick, no fashion. And the teachers we will call Behenji, and the male teachers Bhaiji. That was the school culture. I studied there up to the 8th standard, because that school was famous for making children qualify their matriculation in 8 years. So, in 8th class, so 2 years were saved. And that was an excellent school. In fact, the only education, if you say education I got, was in that school.
And at home, what was the atmosphere at home?
Atmosphere at?
What was the atmosphere at home?
Home. Well, our home was about 2.5 miles from the school, and we were a small family, father, mother, and 2 brothers. But my father's sister had become widow, so their families are also were living with us. And you want to know the atmosphere, my father liked to live outside of the city. So whenever there will be more houses, he will shift to another house outside of the city. So we have almost always lived on the outskirts of the city. So there were fields and open areas, villages around, and some rainwater drains, things like that. And our house was by the side of rainwater drain, I remember. Sometimes snake will come. So I have one experience of a very close encounter with a snake. So since then I became afraid of snakes. Even now I am afraid of snakes.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Can we talk about your spiritual childhood now?
Yes.
When did your parents come to Baba?
Now my entry into the spiritual school was also in my city of birth. Fortunately, Mateshwari Mama also belonged to my city called Amritsar. So she wrote letters in Punjabi script, and it was a city of Sikh people. It is the holiest city of Sikh people. It has a temple called Golden Temple, and they have sort of built a water reservoir around the temple, which they call, the water they call Amrit, and that is why the city is called Amritsar. So they get water from some lake, canal, and they purify, and there the Brahma Kumaris had a center. And Dadi Chandramani, called the Lion of Punjab was in charge of that center. So my father joined that center. And as a baby, child, I would go to that center. This is how I began. But soon after, there was partition of the country. So we shifted to Delhi. So actually, my conscious contact with the Brahma Kumaris was in Delhi. There again, Chandramani Dadi was my first teacher. And the center was on the third floor and no lift. And there were landlord and tenants living on other floors. Only the roof was available. Even on the floor of our center, there was a tenant, some newspaper sub-editor. That was the situation. There I got gyan. And I was then studying law. And the librarian of my law faculty was also a Brahma Kumar. So first we met at the stairs of the center, and I said, "You are also here." And he was none else but Om Prakash Bhai of the railway department. We all know him. And then I was given Anand Kishore Bhai to teach me the course. And because I was a law student, whatever I will say, I will say the otherwise. He say, "You are soul, not body." I will say, "I am body, not soul." Like that. So for 5-6 days it was going on. But for my father, they would have said, "You better don't come." But because of my father, they was tolerating me. On the 6th day, they told me, "One very experienced sister will teach you yoga." I said, "Welcome, I will go come." I was very punctual. So I squatted. I sat in front of Dadi Kamal Sundari. She was a trans messenger also. She had forgotten the denomination of coins even, great yogi. So she sat and just she started praising me. "You are a pure soul." And I was smiling inside that she is flattering me. And then suddenly she got a phone call. And the telephone was at their residence in another room. She said, "Keep sitting, I will come." Now, during that period, something happened. And that was, I was sitting alone, and something like fog. There were ventilators in those days. Now there are ventilators in hospitals only, but there used to be ventilators. So some fog-like thing came and circled me, and I started feeling joy. I felt myself, am I okay? And then I found I was okay, but I had a mind change that perhaps there is some power here, and I am unnecessarily every day quarreling with the Brahma Kumaris. So I decided on that day that I will listen and think from their side, not argue. So I decided that if I am convinced on one single point of their knowledge, I will proceed further. And that was that human soul does not transmigrate into animal species. So I got thoroughly convinced. Then I said, yes, this is something unique. So then I asked them again, Anand Kishore Bhai, to give me the course again. So this is then how I was convinced.
Beautiful. They chose the right person to teach you, because Anand Kishore Bhai was the one person, the Dada, who had actually he was a graduate, a university graduate. There was nobody else in the Yagya who had that background, so he was the right person to teach a lawyer.
No, He had come from Japan. In those days, the two Dadis and Anand Kishore Bhai had come from Japan. And he was in the only center there and writing some book in English. I don't remember the name of the book, but there was some book. And he asked me to write one para in that. And that was my first contribution, so to say, to Gyan. And I wrote a para. If I correctly remember, just as light and darkness cannot be at the same time, something like that. So he praised that para, so encouraged me to join him. And then we had long friendship and also association. We went to Lucknow to establish some center there and so on. Yogi Jivan. That was the Hindi book. We wrote an English book. He was writing an English book, so one para I contributed.
Okay. And then when did you meet Mama and Baba?
Well, my parents used to go to Madhuban, but there was a restriction that someone who has not been for 1 year or so. So myself and my brother had joined later. So we sent telegrams that we want to come. Finally, we were permitted to come. So we reached there, I think it was in (1953) or so.
Very early.
Yes.
Where were the Brahmakumaris staying then?
That was Kota House.
They had left Brij Koti by then.
I have not seen Brij Koti. There were two adjoining buildings. Kota House was the headquarters, and by the side of it, there was another building, Pokhran House. That was for the visitors to stay.
Okay. And how did you meet Mama? When you were there in Madhuban, what was your first meeting with Mama like?
I see. Well, in those days, the system was that the whole family will meet Mama and Baba on arrival. So we were lodged in that other building. In the evening, it was fixed. So there was a small hall. Everyone squatted. Baba, Mama on the sandali, no chairs. So Baba, when we came before the Baba and Mama came. So we were seated in the front row to meet Baba and Mama. There was a wooden partition, and I was waiting for Baba to come and Mama and to see how they look like. And I was, very amazed and actually visualizing how Baba will be like and Mama will be like. Suddenly, I heard the sound of wooden sandals which Baba used to wear. So just below the partition, you could see the feet. So I saw Baba coming, Mama coming. They sat. And I'm telling you my experience only. So I was looking at both turn by turn. I didn't know whom to look first. So I was first looked at Mama. Mama was the only physical body which you could compare or which would be better than any sadhu, sannyasi, any religious person. All other physical bodies were 84th body, and they were different. People would say, you are yogis, but you don't look so round like the sadhus. But Mama had that excellent features, so very attractive body. Baba gave her, changed her, even the body's like a mother. So I was looking at Mama, then I thought I should see Baba, so I looked at Baba. Then I again looked at Mama, so Mama smiled. That was the first thing that happened. And after that, turn by turn, we would go and be in the lap. So when my turn came, first in Mama's lap, so I lay and I felt like bodiless, as if I am made of cotton, and some consciousness is inside. So no bodily feeling. I was so much lost that after some time, when your time is over, Mama will pat you on the back that now you get up. so I got up, but I again, second time again went to Mama's lap because I wanted to have that experience again. So I had two turns like that. Then also, same about Baba's lap.
Was that your first experience
Yes.
of being bodiless?
Yes.
And then I know that it was Baba who gave you personal instructions about your days of starting a job and then continuing with your job. Do you want to tell us the highlights of that?
Well, in retrospect, the four of us, after the formal meeting, in the next morning class, after that, Baba used to sit in the adjoining room informally called chamber. There was a big chair and all the children will be around Baba, like sitting, and Baba will say something unofficially. Mama was not there in that room. So we as a family came there and Baba gave instructions, different instructions to all the four of us. My father in those days was known for his service. He would go anywhere, bus stand, railway station, distribute leaflets, very enthusiastic. So he told Baba, I want to surrender fully and become a surrendered BK. So Baba told him, you have a family, so you be a trustee BK. My mother, Baba told her, yes, you are Nashto Moha, but still I want you to be more Nashto Moha. So my father will open a Brahma Kumari center near to Delhi in some pilgrim place and you be there. That was the instruction. Accordingly, a center was rented in Mathura and my mother went there and she remained there only till she left her body. My turn came. So Baba said, what are you doing? I told Baba, I am studying law and also undergoing articleship of chartered accountancy, which is for 3 years. So Baba said, you continue your studies. My younger brother, 12th class in college, second year, Baba told him to stop his studies and become Brahma Kumar. So, different instruction to all the four of us. Later, my younger brother did lot of important service in those days. And Baba had said that Baba had come to that rented house, but Baba said, don't call Baba next time in this Garb jail. So you have a separate building. So my brother searched a building, separate building in the Jori garden. So many things he did. But after 3 years he left the body. That is why Baba told him to leave studies, and Baba knew I will be living up to today. So Baba asked me to complete my studies.
Amazing that Baba had that insight into each person. I
Yes,
know that
yes.
Baba also could see each one's future, because Baba also told me about my future,
Yes.
which I didn't understand at that time, and then a
Yes.
few years later I understood. What was the next time that Baba gave you very specific guidance?
Well, Baba used to say, and I also believed, that if only for once you follow some Srimad of Baba in some important matter of your life, only for once, then Baba will take care of you throughout your life. This was my firm belief, and so I qualified chartered accountancy, started my office practice normally. I took room in a hotel because in hotel you get free phone, bearer and all those things. So as far as starter it is good. And only 9 months had passed. I had taken some accounts of some people. I went to Madhuban. First thing Baba asked me, child, have you qualified? I very proudly said, yes, Baba, I have qualified. What are you doing? I told. So Baba said, come closer. Although I was quite close, but still. And then Baba gave me drishti, powerful vibration, and said, child, if you will do practice, all your thoughts, all your time, your involvement will be in that. You better take some government job. So instantly I decided not to go to my office and take government job. So that was one Srimad of Baba I followed, which is bringing fruit to me even up to now. So everything now Baba takes care.
Beautiful. What was it that made you say yes immediately to Baba? Was it that you recognized that this is God speaking through Brahma Baba? What gave you that feeling?
It happened naturally. Like otherwise also Brahma Baba was like grandfather. Personality was extraordinary. And he lovefully said to me, so I instantly, no yes, no thinking. I decided then and there, and I didn't go to my office at all. All the books were returned and the furniture was sent to Rajouri Garden Center. I still remember like that. And Baba got me the job. That is another wonder. If you have time, I can tell them all. Okay?
Everybody is here for you. You can share.
Okay? All right. Now I was like a shy boy, although qualified chartered accountant. I had never gone out of my town, and because Baba had said, you take a government job, should I also drink or later on?
Yes, you should.
Because I am doing more speaking.
It's true.
Okay. So, to show some tolerance, I am not taking it now.
You don't have to tolerate.
So, I saw first time in the newspaper vacancy of a chartered accountant. The first one I saw, I hand wrote the application. I didn't know that you have to get it typewritten in those, nothing. And sent it. And because of Baba's power, I got the interview. It was in a city in Punjab, remote area. So I went for the interview. In the same compartment, there were 8 boys going for the same interview to that city. And all others were very smart, speaking good English, talking to each other, joking. And I was sitting in a corner like this, that if they are going, no chance for me. First of all, I couldn't speak English, although my English knowledge was good, writing and all, but Punjabi person, never spoke English to anyone. And those boys were, many of them, already employed, and they were senior in age. Anyhow, we reached there. I do not know what happened to them. When my turn came, the board asked me 5 questions. I couldn't answer 4. So they said no, 4 questions. Because as a BK, you do pass the exam, but you don't take much interest in those things. Now the 5th question was, what salary you will accept? I know nothing about salary, what is increment, what is pay scale, nothing. So I told them, whatever you will give me. So I was selected, all others were rejected. Because they all wanted higher salary. They thought, who will come from Delhi to this remote area? The company had only acquired land, not even started any construction. So I was in the job. But the company was very big, and they also wanted 8, 9 qualified chartered accountants. So after 3 months, they re-advertised by raising the lower salary 1.5 times. So I got that 1.5 times because I was already in. So new boys came. If that high salary was in the beginning, I would have been out. So Baba got me the job, and also higher salary. This is how it is.
I know that then there came a time when you were doing service, I think the place is called Nagal.
Yes.
And you were near the Nagal Dam.
Yes.
And you started service there in your own home.
Yes.
What was that experience?
Well, because I was first a BK, and then I had that job. So first thing I did was, they had a construction colony in the beginning. So all the officers and other was in that colony. So I took a kalpa tree and all my chart, and in my house I started service. And Baba is there. So I got 4 or 5 students, and more of them from the other side of the river. It was called Bakada Dam. So they came, and one of them also started a small class in his house. So my officer was an Arya Samaji. So when he learned, and the first salary I got, in our own company we had state banks, so I made a bank draft and sent to Mount Abu. So the word went to the officer that this fellow has sent his whole salary to Brahma Kumaris. The officer thought, if he becomes Arya Samaji, he will give this salary to me. So being an officer, he thought he has some influence on me. So he called me to his home on one Sunday. And he had got some Swamiji also. And he started debate. Although Baba forbids debate, he had taken one of our books called Huge Contrast. And he started from the last page of that book where it was mention about Brahma Baba. So he said, you call this person is Brahma Baba. If I pay rail ticket to him, can you call him and make a small mountain here? With the Arya Samajis are like that. I told him, sir, this is the last page of the book. You better start from the first page. So he said, okay. And then he started, first page was omnipresent. So there also, he thought he will win me. So Sadhu was also there. So after 2 questions, he was not able to answer. So he said, because he was also frightened that he had an Arya Samaj in that colony and he was the head. He was also in charge of the accounts department. He thought this person may not spread Brahma Kumaris in this area, company. So he said, why don't you call some of your Brahma Kumari and let us have open debate. I said, okay. So I called Manohar Dadi. Achha. So we had a club. So in that, we had a Sikh Gurdwara, a Hindu big temple given by the company, one small church. So in the club, it was decided that Arya Samaji officer will come and debate with Manohar Dadi. Although Baba forbids, but I said okay. I was young. So now he came with the ladies of the officer ladies also. Some Sikh people also came. And one of the students was also a Sikh. He also came. So nice debates started. So Manohar, he asked some question from Manohar Dadi. Manohar Dadi replied. 2-3 steps after that he couldn't answer. And he became little angry. So he wanted to, then Manohar Dadi said, brother, be little peaceful. Then he said, I am peaceful. Then others also said, you are not peaceful. But after 3-4 such things, they couldn't reply. So all the ladies of that officer, they started saying, Jo bole so bhai, Vedic dharam ki jai. They started citing slogans. I told Manohar, and the Sikh people also started objecting to this person. And my Sikh student, he was new, he folded it up. I told Manohar Dadi to slip away from the door. And they were all quarreling with each other like that. This is how it happened.
Early days of service was challenging for everyone.
But I enjoyed.
And did you write and tell Baba all this?
Yes, I used to write to Baba. Baba said, child, you should not argue with people. No, don't go into debate and all those things. But I had Josh like that. But later, many people sided with us. So I established a small center in our house.
And then you were called to Delhi after Baba had become Avyakt. So what was your experience when Baba became Avyakt?
Yes, I was in that city. And suddenly I got a telegram. Pitashri expired, drama Kumarka, in the morning hours. So nobody was expecting. So I saw the telegram. I decided to go to Mount Abu. But first I thought of informing my students who were on the other side of the river, who had a small center in one house. So I had a scooter. I went there. On the way, new furniture was coming for my center. So I saw, Ashri has expired, this furniture is coming. So I had some little feeling, but doesn't matter. Not much effect. So I called one of these owners of that house student. I told him, I am going to Mount Abu, Pitashri has expired. He also felt like this. I didn't say much. So, from my city, I knew that there used to be a newspaper taxi going from Chandigarh to Delhi. So I reached Chandigarh by bus, taxi. Then all-rounder Dadi was there. So we all 4 people hired a taxi direct to Abu and told that Sardar taxi wala not to stop. His eye had become red shot near Ajmer. But I saw old BKs also, sisters, little shaky, looking at me, but I never felt at all something very big. Although I was passing through all this, I saw Baba's body, sat by that, even where Baba's body was cremated. But inside, I only had one feeling, and that was there was a brother I shared with him also when the fire was lit. I said to him, Baba says, my beloved children will die with me. Why I am not falling into this? I told that boy. I was really feeling like that, but I said somehow, he told me, you have not settled your karmic account, so you be here, like that. But Baba gave me extra power. My mother had also come. She was also looking, but gave me extra power.
Yeah. There are 2 other, myself and Jyotiben were there at that time for the cremation. Jyotiben sitting at the back there, and myself, we were both in Agra when we heard the news.
I see.
And then Vimla Didi and Mahendra Bhai were coming, so we joined them and we came to Abu.
Yeah.
And that was on the Monday morning. Sunday we travelled from Agra, Monday we were there,
Yes.
and then Tuesday was the cremation on the 21st, so both of us were
They
there.
waited for Didi, who was traveling to arrive.
That's right, yeah.
Yes. But in those days, everybody was expecting Baba will rise. So, Baba's body was kept. Even something will happen, everybody will stand and think, wow, that was the feeling.
Yeah. And it was after Baba became Avyakt that then world service started. Until then, service had been in Bharat. But after that, then world service started. And of course, then Didi called you to Delhi. And so what was your sense of that? Leaving your home, leaving your service place, your work, and dropping everything and coming to Delhi? What was your experience then?
No, before Baba left body, 3 or 4 months before that, we were like normal. So Baba called me to Madhuban. Myself, Ramesh Bhai, Jagdish Bhai. Bhai was already there. So, being in job, I took leave and I reached first of all. So Baba said, oh, you must have done good service of your officers. They have given you leave. So Baba called me Udan Khatola, gave me the title of Udan Khatola. Anyhow,
Flying chariot.
so Baba organized a meeting with us and the Dadis. That was the establishment of so-called system about 3 months before Baba left body. That was it. So we had a meeting, Baba said, like family talk like that. And then Baba became awake. Then that became formal type of meeting for us. But I had no inclination, no idea, not even willingness to become a surrendered Brahma Kumar. Because I had independent ideas, although I didn't like the word, but I wanted independence and I was happy. I was doing my job, also doing a lot of service. So both things pleased me. I was very happy. But Baba wanted me to become surrendered Brahma Kumar. So in 4 steps, Baba prepared me, which I did not know at that time, incognito. You know, Baba used to come for hours during those days. So first time I went, so Baba said, child, you are doing both Baba service and local Lokik service. Which one you like better? You want to continue like this, or you want to that you should be doing godly service only? So I thought for a while. I was many years in that job. That was only signing papers. No, not much burden. So I said, Baba, to me, it is all right. I'm doing a Lokik service. And then Baba asked me, 19-20 batao. 19-20, you know, you can translate.
Yeah.
So Baba said, 19-20 batao. Again I thought, I said, Baba, to me it is the same. I am comfortable with Lokik, and Baba didn't say anything over. Behind me was sitting a Gujarat school teacher, sister. She requested Baba that, Baba, I want to leave my Lokik job and become full-time Brahma Kumari. So Baba pointed to her to me that, look, I am keeping you as school teacher. Whenever I want, I will get you surrendered. So continue like that. That was first one. After a few months, I again went to Baba. So Baba said, child, have you made one like yourself? Aap saman. I said, Baba, like myself. So Baba said, you are going for service. Supposing sometime you are not able to go, there should be someone in Punjab. So instantly 2 faces appeared before me in the presence of Baba. One was of Amir Chand Bhai and one was of Lakshman Bhai. So Baba said, next time when you come, make one Apsman. So I started intentionally sending them. I am not able to go here and there. So next time I came, I told Baba, yes, Baba, I have made Apsman. Then Baba said, have you lived at some center for some time? I said, yes, Baba, I took 1 month leave to make a museum in Karol Bagh, and I was there for 1 month and made that museum. All-rounder Dadi was there, and Morarji had come to inaugurate that as Prime Minister. Baba said, no, not like a guest. You take fruits and all that, they know you are in job, they will keep you as, no, as an inmate. You know, child, when you are there at inmate, there is a lash of sanskaras. I didn't know what Baba is saying, I just listened. So this is how, step by step, Baba put into my head what is going to be ahead of me.
I'd love to continue with your personal story, but we've got just a few minutes.
Yes.
So I want to ask some other questions that people have sent. And one of the questions is that at the moment it seems that sometimes service in India is different to service abroad. How can we bring both together so that then we are both working in the same direction? In one way, yes, it's Baba's message. We're studying Baba's same Murli everywhere, but yet still there seems to be a difference. What can we do to make service united?
Well, I believe it is already united. Yeah, just as, someone has to construct a road, and that road has even to go beyond an ocean. So what they do, they make gangs that from this portion to this portion you are responsible. From this portion they make different gangs and they construct, and then they join the road, it becomes a complete road. I take it like that. So depending upon whether it is a hilly area or an ocean or a different language and different all that. So Baba has given us assignment for particular areas, but it doesn't mean that we are limited to that. I have never felt like that. We belong to, depending upon the language, area and all that. So Baba has constructed, and Baba has always taught us that this is only location, geographical location, linguist things, anything, what you call culture, Punjabi food and all that. But otherwise, it is Baba's work. The proof is that to each area, Baba sent a sister who didn't know the language of that area, who didn't know nothing about that area. Baba sent Chandrapani Dadi to Punjab. She didn't know Punjabi or anything, but Baba sent. Hriday Pushpa Dadi to Karnataka. She didn't know. Janki Dadi to here. She didn't know. So it shows that Baba's work is being done, but locals are always taken. Even here, if you are Bank of Baroda in London, you will have Indians there. For there will be some British people also. So same way it is happening. And if there is variety, it is nice. We enjoy, everyone enjoys variety. And otherwise our culture is the same, Brahman culture. We don't see any difference. I feel like that. It is already pre-planned and it is happening. If superficially someone raises a question, then one can answer. Once I had gone to Australia. So there was a brother's house and a sister's house, So after the class, I went to the brother's house. They surrounded me. And they said, Bhaiji, why there is no foreigner transmessenger? They spontaneously they asked me. I know nothing. I said, transmessengers were made so long as Brahma Baba was in body. Because there a lot of Maya could enter, so Brahma, we could verify from Brahma Baba. Now there is only official transmessenger. No new transmessengers are made either in India or overseas. It is not a question of foreigner or Indian, because all overseas centers have been opened after Baba became settled. It is like that. So just Baba touched me and I gave them this reply.
Very good. Last question, because we are reaching limit of our time now. Seeing that it's the final chapter, we can see Kali Yuga finishing very fast, and we can also see that Baba's children are preparing for Satyug, which is very close. What is the effort that Brahmins must make now in this final chapter?
Well, Baba has already told us, and normally in our life also, everyone prepares for the next scene, isn't it? A child has a particular size of clothes, but the parent knows now you have to have the next size. So like that, when winter comes, you have to have woolens and so on. So now, what is our next final station? The final station is Paramdham, terminal station. And before that, we have the subtle region. So Baba says, we may make effort, we may not make effort. That is has to be. So if we make effort, so just as in today's Murti said, click, and you will be changing. Otherwise, you will have to rush, or you may have be pulled and something like that. So our individual natural destination is to become soul, and which means in Paramdham. And before that, be in our angelic state and come down, do whatever we want, but be there and come down. This is the ideal. So for an individual, we are concerned.
And in terms of the world?
The world, it is natural. Baba gave, the seed gave everything to the roots, and root gives to the trunk, and we are the roots and the trunk. So naturally, the whatever is growth above has to be sustained, and it gets sustained. When the tree dies, so naturally the sustenance, it will stop accepting sustenance. Not that these roots are not giving, but naturally when a person's system is not functioning, you give anything, it will not accept. So it is drying. So that is the thing. Only some leaves, new souls are green, or the roots are green. That is all. It is naturally happening, and we can only give what we have spare. So if I, as even a single sting of the root, if you consume everything for myself to remain alive, then I have nothing to give. But if I have something to spare, then I can share.
Okay.
And when you start sharing, you require little because you get all the nourishment in the form of happiness and joy by sharing. So you require very little, as when one is very happy, one takes very little food. But when has failed in an exam or suffered something, one will try to compensate by gulping. That's like that.
So as the roots, what we have to do is to be able to take from Baba and be able to give to the whole tree.
Yes.
And that is service.
Naturally. It is commonly said, if you have one glass of water and you want to give it to the whole tree, you put in the roots, something will reach.
Okay. Thank you for sharing with us. There hasn't been time for questions from all of you, but let's see if there can be something fitted in next week within the few days that you'll still be with us after Oxford. So let's see. Thank you. Thank you.
Om Shanti.
And there'll be Tolina.